Here we go. Nor are they black like the Ethiopians. There you go. Again, they've already came in contact with Africans. So they're telling you right here, nor are they black like the Ethiopians. One of the requirements for the I Ain't African starter kit is we ain't Africans. We was already here in America when Columbus came. And I just asked one question. I'm going to read because whenever this conversation comes up, here comes the Columbus said in his writings. And I swear, y'all ain't read the writings. I'm going to pull up some of the writings from Columbus's journal. You know, the argument is always in Columbus' journal, he said he saw Africans. And then there's the on Columbus's voyage, there were Africans who helped guide Columbus to America. But Columbus ended up in America because he got lost. So are you saying the black people who were on Columbus's ship gave him the wrong directions? Like but anyways, but at the end of the day, this is the reality. Spain, Portugal were already in contact with Africans, Ethiopians, Asians, and Indians. So I've asked this question and I've never got a straight answer to the we are the Aboriginal crew. Since the Spanish and the Portuguese, since they were already in contact with Africans, they were very clear on what Africans were, whether they call them Negroes, Guinea, Ethiopians, Africans. Since they were already in contact with Indians and they were trying to find a shorter route to India, why, when they showed up to present-day Cuba or Hispaniola, you know, somewhere around there, we'll just say the West, why did Columbus call the area the West Indies or the Indies? And why did he call the people inhabiting these islands where he arrived Indians? He didn't call them Africans. He didn't call them Ethiopians. He didn't call them Guinea or Negro. He called them Indians. That's my question. If you're claiming that he came in contact and he said that he saw black people or Africans, why did he call them Indians? And why did he call that area the Indies? And why are you making this argument that they were Africans that were on the boat in which Columbus came to America on, because they had guided him, but he got lost? So are you saying Africans gave him the wrong directions? Like, I'm lost. Somebody help me out here. He didn't come in contact with you Negroes, and that is okay. I mean, that's okay. I mean, I'm just thinking about this. The arguments are, you know, when Columbus came to America, he said he saw Africans, he saw black people, but he called them Indians. So he thought he was in India. Then it's the black people on the boat. They show Columbus. You know, they're the ones that guided Columbus to the Americas, but he was supposed to go to India, not America. He got lost and ended up in America. So these arguments are just weird. But everybody loves to point to Columbus's observations. So we're going to read some of Columbus's observations. Columbus's observations of life in the Caribbean, 1492 to 93. The historic voyages of Christopher Columbus, Christopher Colon, 1451 to 1506. And the subsequent conquest of this new world by the Spanish and Portuguese, and other colonial powers wrought tremendous change. The bold sailor from Genoa, Italy, provided the first European descriptions of life in the Caribbean. Do keep in mind that enlightened self-interest impressed the sovereigns of Spain, and ethnocentrism colored his vision. And these are excerpts from his letters in his journal. Concerning the islands recently discovered in the Indian Sea. So again, the Indian Sea. Now, in the meantime, I had learned from certain Indians whom I seized there that this country was indeed an island, and therefore I proceeded towards the east, keeping all the time near the coast for 322 miles to the extreme ends of this island. And the said Joanna and the other islands there appear very fertile. This island is surrounded by many very safe and wide harbors. not excelled by any others that I have ever seen. Many great and salubrious rivers flow through it. There are also many very high mountains there. And all these islands are very beautiful and distinguished by various qualities. They are accessible and full of great variety of trees stretching up to the stars, the leaves of which I believe are never shed, for I saw them as green and flourishing as they are usually in Spain in the month of May. Some of them were blossoming, some were bearing fruit, some were in other conditions. Each one was thriving in its own way. The nightingale and various other birds without number were singing in the month of November when I was exploring them. There are, besides, in the said island, Juana, 7 or 8 kinds of palm trees, which far excel ours in height and beauty, just as all the other trees, herbs, and fruits do. There are also excellent pine trees, vast plains and meadows, a variety of birds, a variety of honey, a variety of metals expecting iron, and one which was called Hispania. As we said above, there are great and beautiful mountains, vast fields, groves, fertile plains, very suitable for planting and cultivating and for the building of houses. The convenience of the harbors in this island and the remarkable numbers of rivers contributing to the healthfulness of man exceed belief unless one has seen them. The trees, pasturage, and fruits of this island differ greatly from those of Hawana. The Hispania, moreover, abounds in different kinds of spices and gold and in metals on the island, indeed, and on all the others which I have seen, and of which I have knowledge. The inhabitants of both sexes go always naked, just as they came into the world, except that some of the women who use a covering of a leaf or some foliage or a cotton cloth, which they make themselves for that purpose. All these people lack, as I said above, every kind of iron. They are also without weapons, which indeed are unknown, nor are they competent to use them. Not on account of deformity of body, for they are well formed, but because they are timid and full of fear, they carry for weapons, however, reeds baked in the sun, on the lower ends of which they fasten some shafts of dry wood rubbed down to a point. And indeed, they do not venture to use these always. For it's frequently happened when I sent 2 or 3 of my men to some of the villages that they might speak with the natives. A compact troop of the Indians would march out. Again, Indians, not Africans, not Ethiopians, not Negroes, Indians. Indians would march out, and as soon as they saw our men approaching, they would quickly take flight, children being pushed aside by their fathers, the fathers by their children. Yet when they perceive that they are safe, putting aside all fear, they are simple manners and trustworthy, and very liberal with everything they have, refusing no one who asks for anything they may possess, and even themselves inviting us to ask for things. They show greater love for all others than for themselves. They give valuable things for trifles, being satisfied even with a very small return or with nothing. However, I forbade that things so small and of no value should be given to them, such as pieces of plates, dishes, and glass. Likewise, keys and shoelace tips, although if they were to obtain these, it seemed to them like getting the most beautiful jewels in the world. It happened indeed that a certain sailor obtained in exchange for a shoelace tips as much worth of gold as would equal 3 gold coins. And likewise, other things for articles of very little value, especially for new silver coins, and for some gold coins to obtain, which they gave whatever the seller desired, as for instance, 1.5 ounces and 2 ounces of gold, or 30 or 40 pounds of cotton, with which they were already acquainted. They also traded cotton and gold for pieces of bowls, bottles, jugs, and jars, like purses, without reason, which I forbade because it was very wrong. And I gave them many beautiful and pleasing things that I had brought with me, no value being taken in exchange, in order that I might the more easily make them friendly to me, that they might be made worshipers of Christ, and that they might be full of love towards our king, queen, and prince, and the whole Spanish nation. Also, that they might be zealous to search out and collect and deliver to us those things of which they have plenty, and which we greatly needed. These people practice no kind of idolatry. On the contrary, they firmly believe that all strength and power, and in fact, all good things are in heaven, and that I had come down from thence with these ships and sailors. And in this belief, I was received. Thereafter, they have put aside fear, nor are they slower in skill, but of excellent and acute understanding. And the men who have navigated that sea give an account of everything in admirable manner. But they never saw people clothed, nor these kinds of ships. As soon as I reached that sea, I seized by force several Indians, on the first island, in order that they might learn from us, and in like manner tell us about those things in these lands of which they themselves have knowledge and plans succeeded. For in a short time we understood them and they us, sometimes by gestures and signs, sometimes by words, and it was a great advantage to us. They are coming with me now, yet always believing that I had descended from heaven, although they have been living with us for a long time. and they are living with us today. And these men were the first who announced it wherever we landed, continually proclaiming to others in a loud voice, "Come, come, come, and you will see the celestial people." Whereupon both women and men, both young men and old men, laying aside the fear caused a little before, visited us eagerly, filling the road with a great crowd, some bringing food and some drink, with great love and extraordinary goodwill. On every island there are many canoes of a single piece of wood, and through narrow yet in length and shape similar to our rowboats, but swifter in movement, they steer only by oars. On every island, okay, some of these boats are large, some small, some of medium size, yet they row many of the larger rowboats with 18 cross benches, with which they cross to all those islands, which are innumerable. And with these boats, they perform their trading and carry on commerce among them. I saw some of these row boats or canoes, which were carrying 70 and 80 rowers. In all these islands, there is no difference in appearance of these people, nor in the manners of language, but all understand each other mutually. In fact, that is very important for the end, which I suppose to be earnestly desired by our most illustrious king, that is the conversion to the holy religion of Christ, which is truth, as far as I can perceive, that they are very ready and favorably inclined. In all these islands, as I have understood, each man is content with only one wife, except the princes or kings who are permitted to have 20. The women appear to work more than the men. I was not able to find out surely whether they have individual property, or I saw that one man had the duty of distributing to the others, especially refreshments, food, and things of that kind. I found no monstrosities among them, as very many suppose, but men of great reverence and friendly. Nor, here we go, nor are they black like the Ethiopians. There you go. Again, they've already came in contact with Africans. So they're telling you right here, nor are they black like the Ethiopians. Again, nor are they black like the Ethiopians. They have straight hair hanging down. Again, they have straight hair. I'm reading it right here. They have straight hair hanging down. There you go. So again, we were here before Columbus. You guys are more than welcome to call in. You guys are more than welcome to call in. I mean, this is from his, because whenever you guys come on here and make this argument, it's you got to read the journal. You got to read the journal. Every time you guys call in, you got to read the journal. You got to read the journal. Columbus's journal. Well, here's the journal. Nor are they black like the Ethiopians. They have straight hair hanging down.
My heart speeds up. My legs go weak.
Some things are deliciously satisfying, like the organic protein-packed Aloha Bar.
At Universal Technical Institute, you can learn the skills needed to become a motorcycle mechanic in just 48 weeks. That's less than a year.
There it goes right there. They have straight hair hanging down. Now, unless you Aboriginal Negroes were had just for me back in the day, and were perming your hair. I don't know. And what this tells me is that you guys don't read. Because somebody came in the chat yesterday and was like, you got to read Columbus's journal. So I said, okay. I'll read the journal. I'll read it. And I found this. I'm like, well, hold on. This goes against what you guys were saying in the journal. Christopher Columbus said Northern Ethiopians and they had straight hair. Not the nappy-headed, copper-colored Moors that y'all be claiming the Indians were, or that Columbus came in contact with. The nappy-headed, what is it? The nappy-headed, copper-colored Moors, the kinky, nappy-headed copper colors. But I'll put the link in the chat room. You're more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. And hey, if you disagree with me, you're more than welcome to call in and disagree with me.
Above your pay
Go ahead,
grade.
caller.
Yeah, I was sitting with Isabella. She's like, "What are you talking about? You wouldn't understand. This is American Negro stuff." Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, look, the whole thing is this. Like you said, thing when Columbus came to the New World, he said when they saw the Arawak and the Tainos, they looked remarkably like the people that were described in India. So they automatically assumed they were Indians. They were connected to the Asian subcontinent. They didn't call them Africans. They didn't call them Ethiopians. They didn't call them
Right. They called them Indians.
Moors. They called them Indians. And so, therefore, like I said, it's just sad. Then when you dropped the bomb, you said that they said long straight hair. That's the one thing you cannot deny. That's the
Mhm.
one thing that basically defines Black people, whether you're from America or the continent Africa, is our hair. And to do that, to go against that is like an abomination. That's like a curse to God. Because God made us this for a reason, for a reason. You know, and He made us this way for a reason. White people, Indians, and all these other people have different types of hair. We are the only race of people on the planet that have hair like ours. And to
Mhm.
deny that, like this spellcaster clown in the chat room said, long straight hair sounds like FBAs with dreadlocks. And this is like really what you're dealing with, because of what the danger of social media is these people can get on places like TikTok and have an audience, and this stuff becomes real. What has happened is this is all mental illness. You have people out there who believe this stuff and whatnot, and you're really damaging people. You lie to people about their history, and they go around their whole life when they're not know who they are and stuff like that. Eventually, they're gonna lose their mind. And that's what's so dangerous about it. That's why we gotta keep fighting this stuff, keep ridiculing these people, for what it is. It's phony history, fake history, and like you said, it's freaking self-hate. I know. Look, let me tell you something, Dynasty. The history of slavery, the transatlantic slave trade, is probably the most humiliating, the most painful thing in human history. No, I don't think anything in human history. Do you know anything that was worse?
No.
Anything else worse than being dragged to the bottom of a slave ship thousands of miles across the Atlantic and then bought and sold like cattle? That was, of course, it's humiliating. Not only that, we instead of us being able to avenge our ancestors, we were told to forgive, was told to love, and we told that this white man who did this or not is beyond reproach, and we can't even ask for reparations, we can't ask for blood or vengeance or anything. We can't even ask for a nation of our own. We have to go along with the people who have enslaved us. We're forced to live in a country with the people that enslaved us and everything. So yeah, I get it. That's why people are cracking up in America. And that's not their fault. The black people who bought into America and bought this idea, I blame them. Because they should have known the fact that you can't just take people who were enslaved and tell them to worship the red, white, and blue, and everything's gonna be good in the by and by. No, it don't work like that. That's why we have gangs. That's why we have problems in Black America. That's why we have failed marriages, failed relationships. That's why we have self-hate. That's why we have all the stuff like that reflecting Black America. Your show. Well, during my show, I'm sorry, a few 10 minutes. But that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. So it's just painful. We just never really recovered from identity crisis because it's simple. It's painful. No one ever explained to us. Look, we went through all this. Why did we go through all this? No one could ever explain why. They just say, "Oh yeah, you built pyramids." It doesn't make any sense. If we built pyramids, how do we end up in a slave ship? It don't even make any logical sense. And so instead of saying, something, yes, we was enslaved, but we could do something more. What can we do more? Well, one is we could be a nation of our own, and that's why I'm here in Liberia right now. It's like this is evidence that we're capable of doing it.
Right.
This republic that I'm in right now is capable. That we had the mindset at one time to do it, and we are capable of doing it. So that's the only thing I believe that's going to save Black people from self-hate, is they have to rise above not rise up, but rise above the mediocrity of America, because America is simply, it is what it is. They're unapologetically about what they did. It is what it is. When you have people a situation like this, I know Chrissy's gonna get up here and say, "Oh, it's all our fault, Black America. You gotta do better," and all that kind of nonsense. I know.
You don't even give me 2 seconds to be. I just literally just come on. You say, Carla, stop it.
I know, but I know you, and then you gotta give me the life lesson about how you worked hard, you got education, and all that means absolutely nothing.
I don't know. You're breaking up. I don't even know what you're saying.
I said none of that means anything when you're dealing with self-hate.
But I know that.
So I hope you do. All that means nothing. You can have all the degrees, all that, in America, you were nothing but an N-word. That's like you say the word, nothing but an N-word, and they know when they look at you, they marvel at what their ancestors were able to do to our ancestors, kick our ancestors' ass, and they got away with it. And that conflict is always going to be there. That's why we have tensions in America.